like some honey now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ain't it funny how honeybees get the buzzing when you
What's
get
going on,
the
everybody?
pollen
Caleb
and
Fast here, fastest growing
They don't
podcast on
wanna
the
bump me
planet
now.
Earth.
I got
Brax
my
couldn't
own
be
shit,
here
now
tonight,
I
but we
live
have a
with
very
mommy
special
now.
guest
Yeah,
across the
yeah,
table,
yeah.
my brother Bruce Black.
Peace.
If you haven't seen the original Bruce Black episode, make sure you go and check that out now. But, you know, we had to have the man back on again, and I was just telling him that, you know, you're just such a good speaker, and you're just very, like, well-spoken in general, so I was hoping that you could co-host some episodes with me. We have...
Dude, I'd be honored.
It would be sweet, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We have a really cool post-hardcore band coming on in October. They're called Judgment. And Alexis on Fire co-produced them. Well, Wade McNeil co-produced one of their songs. And yeah, I think you'd be sick into that, right? Are you into post-hardcore at all, like Alexis on Fire vibes?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
for sure.
yeah.
Yes.
So they're coming down. They have a show at Warehouse, and I just DM'd them. I was like, "Yo, like, you guys want to come on?" They're like, "Yeah, bet." I'm like, "How many guys you bringing?" They're like, 5. So
Wow.
yeah, so we have to figure out like
Where you're going to put everybody.
room placement, camera placement, like all that. But you know what? It should be great. How have you been, sir?
I am legendary.
Yeah,
As
always.
usual, yes. Are you going to the show? Are you going to go see them?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we're going to the fucking show too.
Okay,
Of course,
good.
yeah.
That's what I figured.
And we better get tickets soon, honestly, because that bitch is probably gonna sell the fuck out.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Because like they're like a pretty, like they'll be the biggest like band or artist thing like we've had on. So like it's huge, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I mean,
That's
what it's all
fastest
about,
growing
right?
podcast right here.
And it really is, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So you just got back from BC. Tell me about that, man.
Oh
How
man,
was that trip,
was
bro?
2 weeks of heaven.
Yes.
Heaven on earth is out there.
It normally is there.
You were where were you?
I've been all over a little bit. So I've been just downtown. I've been
Like whereabouts of Vancouver? Like where did you go?
oh man, well we went to Nanaimo, went to Horseshoe Bay, and then we went basically like everywhere, like as far as like downtown, and then no. What's the little island there? I forget what it's called. I'm gonna look because we did an episode there.
Yeah, because I'm not sure.
It's like under this one bridge, but I mean you know me, I love BC.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if BC had a better fucking music scene, that's
Where you'd be?
where I'd be going for sure.
Yeah, I stayed in Nanaimo.
Oh, you did, eh?
Yeah, I was in Nanaimo.
Okay.
When we left, we checked out. Have you ever been to Ladysmith, where Pamela Anderson lives? We were looking for her house.
No.
Because she lives in her the house that she grew up in. So, but yeah, so I stayed in Nanaimo.
Who is that? Is that like a...
You don't know who Pamela Anderson is?
No. Well, I know the name, but I'm not...
Yeah, she was on the original Baywatch,
Okay.
and then she was like a Playboy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was a real looker?
She was still probably not bad. She was married to Tommy Lee.
Oh.
You know, the sex tape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's
Now that's ringing a fucking bell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
But,
gotta dust off your copy.
Yeah. Right? I don't know if that's available on the internet.
No.
Come on, Bruce. You know porn's low frequency, bro.
Exactly.
You
It
know
sucks.
that.
It's not good for you. Say no to drugs and porn.
Definitely say no to porn more than drugs, I'd
Yes.
say. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Especially do you really want me to just hit right to the DMT?
Might as well go right there.
So which I was telling you off camera is out in BC, and I got introduced to DMT for the first time. What a beautiful, beautiful drug.
Crazy.
Like I did it twice.
Explain it for the people at home who don't know. And what kind of DMT did you do? Do you know? Like, did you do 5-MeO?
No, I didn't do. I had access to it.
Oh wow!
But
not recommended for like beginner use.
Well, no, my buddy who I went to visit, him and his wife, they both did 1 DMT, and they said it was the worst.
Oh yeah, because I remember you saying that. I don't think you said that on the pod, but
it was the worst. So this is just the regular DMT. Like I think I'm not versed in drugs and shit like that. But sorry, no, can I swear?
Oh yeah.
I think I was swearing last time too. Yeah. But so I think this was just. But oh my god,
standard. Yeah.
Love like the first time I did it. It was just obviously. Have you done it?
No.
It's not long. Like it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
But it doesn't feel like that, right?
I know the 5-MeO, they say it feels like forever.
Yeah. Okay, so that is the difference then maybe between them.
Yeah.
Because around here you can get DMT in like vape pens. And I'm just not
That's
sure.
what I did.
That's what it was?
Yeah, it was vape
okay,
pen.
because I was always curious. Like, I didn't know if that was, like, the real DMT. Like, I wasn't sure if you could have, like, a breakthrough, like, with that type of DMT. Or, like, for those people who don't know that are watching the podcast at home, first of all, if you're fucking a kid, don't do DMT. Don't be a fucking idiot.
No,
But,
exactly. I'm 52 and just tried it. So
yeah, like it's like, I mean, it's a psychedelic. I mean, I guess you could kind of, it's completely different than mushrooms. I mean, you know, people have life-altering experiences with that. You know, some people claim to like leave their body and fucking literally like blast off out of their body. Did that anything like that happen to you, or were you still like bruised the whole time?
Honestly, I don't remember if I was me, if I was somebody else. I just remember the first trip I did, it was just geometric shapes, and they were all floating, and like I said, it didn't. Mine, I for some reason, I don't know if I have a high metabolism. Like both of mine, they lasted about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I just remembered it was beautiful. It was just shapes and all that. But the second one, that was the most amazing. So picture Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
Like cartoon.
Oof.
Yes. No.
See, I don't do good with cartoon trippy shit.
But it was. But listen. Like you. So picture, like a brown cartoon person, with like a Mayan Aztec vest on, and like this big Mayan Aztec bracelet, and so I'm flying in the air, and all of a sudden,
you're like, okay, so this second one you like took off?
yeah, I was in the air flying, and not just one. I'm talking thousands of these like Aztec people were flying up, and they're touching me. They touch me, and then they would fall back, and they just smile. And then they would put their arm out, and then they would, as they were falling, they would shoot another Aztec person out of their bracelet, and then that one would come up and touch me, and they smile and fall. But just, it's not one. There was like literally hundreds. It was like everywhere. I'm looking down, and everywhere.
So when you say you were like flying, like I'm trying to think. So where is this taking place? Are you guys doing it outside or like?
I was laying in a bed with an eye mask on.
Yeah.
And
so you just took right off.
It literally, as soon as I.
Would you say you were still flying around like real life, like real world, or are you just like in fucking space?
No, I was just in space. Like you couldn't see anything. It was just all I saw, like I said, was these, and they were just, as soon as they touched me, they just had this smile of love. Like that's all, like it was just pure love.
Wow.
And it was amazing just to have all these, and they just wanted to touch me, and then they would fall back and smile, and then shoot another one. And that's, like I said, it was like hundreds.
They had like
of
faces?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, but they looked like cartoon, like Dora the Explorer, like they were Aztec, like people.
Wow.
It was
How long did that feel like it lasted?
It felt like it lasted a half an hour, but it was about 3 minutes. Wow. Yeah.
And you could just fly wherever, like you could just fly freely?
Yes.
Or you were just like taken out, like you were
there was
shot
so
out.
many. There was so many people. Like I couldn't even see where I was flying. I just knew I was flying, but there was, like I said, it was just constant people coming and touching me and falling back, and I just remember staring at the faces, and like just the smile was like beautiful. And then, like they said, they'd shoot another person out of their wrist, out of the bracelet, and then that one would come.
So it's strong stuff then out of the vape still.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Like that's remarkable.
So
Holy fuck! So you just ripped it one time, and it was just like.
No. So I was instructed to basically take a puff, hold it, exhale, take another puff,
You
hold
feel
it.
come on right away.
But he basically I did that until I forgot. Like I just kept on holding for a couple seconds, let it go, take a puff, until you forget to take a puff.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
And I might have ordered something and have it shipped to my house.
Yeah, really, eh? Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's profound. So you'd say it's like way crazier than doing ketamine?
Oh yeah.
Like way crazier.
Well, it's different.
It's
different. And for those of you who don't know, as I have a pain issue, and I have ketamine prescribed, so I enter the K-hole, as they say, and it can be beautiful and wonderful. And, oh yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So do you feel any lasting effects from that trip? Like, do you just feel happier? Do you feel like recharged?
I feel like I had a few breakthroughs. I know we've talked in the previous one, like everybody else, I have childhood traumas, and I had a couple of, like, since that trip, I feel like I've grown huge inside. And everybody talks about self-love, and I say, yeah, but I feel it now. Like, I understand self-love. Like, I thought I understood it before, but I feel like I understand self-love. And it was just like a couple of nights ago, I was in BC, and I was just in bed, and I was laying there, and it hit me. And it was basically because...
Like, what does it feel like to feel like you understand self-love? Is it just like a sense of comfort?
No, what it was literally a light bulb going off. Is because you know how you, like, you tell yourself that you love yourself, but for me, as I would say all this stuff and I would do all this stuff, but there are certain things in my life that I'd be doing, and I'm like, I justify the actions. How do I put this? Like, so I'm still kind of negative towards myself. Mm-hmm. Like, I kind of, in the back of my head, I'm like, you can do it. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, no, you can't. You know, like, as much as you want to think. And I just realized that self-love is literally being your own best friend, instead of in that in the back of my mind saying, you know, like, sometimes like, oh no, like, I gotta be that guy that's like, yes, you can do this. You can. You are strong. You are, right? And it just hit me because I wanted to stop doing something, and I'm like, oh, I can't. And then I was just like, that's why you can't, is because you're not being there for yourself to help yourself stop this. Mm-hmm. So once I kind of realized, like, hey, like, I need to be my own cheerleader. Yeah. And I need to basically pat myself in the ass and say, hey, good job. You can do this. When I was kind of doing that before, but I think it was more fake it till you make it. Yeah. Like, I knew what I was supposed to be doing, but I didn't feel it and I didn't understand it. Where now I feel it and I understand it. Like, I know what it feels like to love myself, because now I'm my own best friend. I'm my biggest cheerleader now.
Your own back now.
Yes.
It's interesting you say that, because it's like, a lot of people say, you know, be the person to yourself that you are to, like, your friends, like, as in, like, you know, like, why don't you take your own advice? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's something that I struggle with, because it's easy to, like, I feel like it's easy to help people with their own issues or their own things that they have going on, but it's not as easy to, like, help yourself with that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that, and like I said, that's why now I have this newfound love for myself.
Like, it's very easy for me to second guess myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know. And
I also think that comes back to childhood traumas.
I think it must. It has. Ever since I was a kid, I would always need reassurance from other people. Yeah. That I was at least doing the right thing.
Yes. And you know who you need the reassurance from? Is yourself. Yeah. So if you can reassure yourself that you're doing the right thing, that's better than anybody else, because now you know you're doing the right thing.
Well, what are some things that you think would help people to, like, love themselves more, that aren't, like, you know, nobody's... It's going to be 1% of the audience that's willing to do DMT. You know what I'm saying? And to that point, though, it's not to say that the reason why 1% of people are going to do DMT is because they're you know, like, in a way stuck in a comfort zone, you know what I'm saying? And that's a fucking really great way to, like, blast yourself literally out of one, you know what I'm saying? But, like, substance out of the picture, like, what are some ways that you've done that? Because, I mean, you know, you've always been somebody who's said, like, you know, I'm not sure since when you started this, like, self-love, like, self-care journey, but it's been, like, what, since the last relationship? That's what. Yeah,
so it's basically since January as I've been on this, and I think I don't think DMT was the magic.
Well, what about for the rest of your life, though? Were like, you know what I mean? Like, how old are you, Bruce?
52.
So, but it didn't take you up to be 52 to realize that,
yes,
right?
It did. Yeah, it did, eh? Yeah. Like I said,
it's very interesting.
But it's because for me, and like I was saying, is I'm. In the last podcast, I'm on this self-love, self-help journey, trying to deal with my childhood traumas and all that. And I think it's depending on what age, like whatever age you realize. That's the one thing is, like, I was out in BC with friends, and it was a very big eye opener. My friend and his dad, who's a doctor, I learned so much. And basically from this doctor, he's a family doctor, but he practiced in Texas most of his. So my buddy Jesse grew up in Texas the majority of his life, but they Jesse's dad and mom are from Toronto. So when he kind of retired, they came back. Parents lived in Toronto. Jesse settled in Niagara. But I had so Jesse's dad, he was a family physician, but then down in the States, and when he was he's 74, 75 years old now. So when he was first coming up, it was a lot. You can do it now, he said, but it's a lot harder. He just didn't want to be a family doctor. So he went and did training. So he was a general surgeon. So he could do general surgeries.
Okay. So that would be like what? Like a hernia or something?
Hernias, vasectomies. And I hope he doesn't watch this because he actually did his own vasectomy.
No. What? How is that even possible?
I don't think he got all the way through it, but yeah. So
why would you ever want to do that?
So but he's done that. He learned he did all
Save
this
money, I guess.
echo cardio learned all, and then he also did psychotherapy. So we had some great conversations out on this Cortez Island. It's a 130 acres, a beautiful, totally off-grid solar house, propane, all the amenity. It was beautiful. And I spent many hours having conversations with this doctor, and I learned a lot. And basically, and I think we said this before, but he just solidified it. He's like, we are all fucked up people. Every single person in this world is fucked up from childhood trauma, from whatever reason. And just as humans, we are a fucked up species.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about this. Is we talked that there's three different versions of Caleb. There's three different versions of Bruce.
Right.
There's the version that you're going to just put out when you're walking down the street, nobody knows you, and just the vibe and everything you give off. There's the Caleb that you introduce to your friends and your family, and then there's the Caleb that only Caleb knows. And there's what I've learned is because I've had some pretty fucked up thoughts, and he just solidified we're all fucked. Everybody has fucked up thoughts, but it's that fine line that we know not to act on them. Right. So, and that's the fine line between schizophrenia and regular sanity.
Yeah.
So, but learning that we are all totally fucked up. This doctor went and he told me his issue. It was beautiful. Spent 4 hours just having a psych.
Right?
And I'm telling him everything that happened in my childhood and why I am the way I am, and I have self-esteem issues and self-love issues, which I think right now between those conversations, doing that DMT, the books and the work I've been doing for the last 9 months or so, I think that's how it got me here. It wasn't just the DMT. So,
do you think that journey to self-love is something that has to be done alone, or do you think it's something that can be done while you're in a relationship?
I think definitely. I think sometimes it's actually helpful to be in a relationship, because they say that the people that trigger you are the people that are going to heal you.
Why is that? Because
they're triggering everything inside of you. So if you can realize this and realize what's triggering you, and you can kind of figure it out, then you can work on what's triggering you.
As opposed to just running away from it.
Yelling, screaming.
New is going to be something better or something like that, right? Because I feel like a lot of times, even in my own life, you know what I'm saying? You think about, I feel like a lot of people think the grass is greener on the other side of life in more than one way, right? In even if it's not a relationship, this job, if I get this job, this will be better, or if I, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's not necessarily always the case, and maybe some of what that stems from is just that trauma from when you were young, you know what I'm saying, and that desire to run, because I have that desire, you know what I'm saying?
I think everybody does, and everybody, until you want to sit down and do the work, and that's the issue, is most people aren't willing to sit down and do the work because it's work.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel good, right?
It doesn't feel good because you have to address issues that you just ran away from.
Yeah.
You didn't address them, or you don't have the emotional capacity to, or so it's that's why they call it a journey.
Yeah.
And unless you're willing to do it,
there's no point even going down that road,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Wow. I mean, that's super insightful. I was thinking today, I knew you were coming on the podcast, and I was thinking about how, I recently just joined therapy again, like, specifically like addictions counseling,
Mm-hmm.
just because I'm still trying to stay sober. I'm trying to, like, as I get older, I'm trying to just understand my relationship with substances and why I'm more drawn to certain things and why I feel this way and this and that. But it's funny because the more I go down this road of therapy, the more I realize it's not actually like addictions therapy that I need. Do you feel what I'm saying? Yeah. It's really overall just like somebody that I need to talk to that, like, you know what I'm saying, doesn't have like a direct role in my life,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the times what happens with people is they turn their friends or they turn their partners into too much of like a therapist. You know what I'm saying? And I think that can be damaging to relationships. What's your opinion on, like do you think more people should entertain something like that, like a therapy?
Oh, everybody.
Because I was thinking that like everybody would benefit.
Everybody would benefit
from.
Oh, everybody, and that's what I had the conversation with this doctor, and just because he's a doctor and everything, I don't want to mention names and stuff like that. But yeah, everybody has issues.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect childhood because, and we've talked about this on my last episode, like my parents did not parent.
Yeah.
Really, like there is not a book on how to parent. There's not a book, like, and
it's hard too. Like, I mean, I'm at a point with it where it's like actually exhausting.
No, it is.
It's like exhausting, and to be honest, there's fun times, but it's not really fun.
No.
God bless him and God bless her. My fiance has a son, right? And I've stepped into this role, and there's times where I think, like, honestly, I'm like, this is not easy. This takes a lot of mental strength. This takes a lot of time and patience, and it's like, I don't know if I'm fucking good for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people probably feel that way that have kids, but they don't acknowledge it and they don't take steps to like ease that strain on them. You know what I'm saying? How was it for you, when you were raising kids? Like, how old were you when you...
Good question.
So your daughter's my age.
So she's 19. So roughly, my son's 21. So I'm 52. So
like 30.
So I was 30 when I had. But still, I said this before. I sucked as a father, especially.
You think so?
I separated from my ex-wife when my son was 3 and my daughter was 1. And
so young then.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And so I was a part-time, weekend warrior father because I used to work shift work. So I'd work one weekend, have them the next weekend. There's a lot of things I could have done better. Like I even right now, like there's some things I need to work on with my children because I was a messed up person and I did not parent the way I should have.
Right. Hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Exactly, but at least it's not too late.
No,
right?
And at least you do have like a really good relationship with them. I mean,
Well, I have a really great relationship with my daughter. My son, I need to work on,
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of it is my fault.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's my fault. So without getting into the too much details, because he might be seeing this. I don't, I hope that's okay. I just don't want to.
For sure. No, for sure. That makes total sense.
But I can admit that, like I could have been a way better father.
It's not easy, man.
No, it's
not easy. And
no.
It's especially not easy to be like,
My dad had a temper. I had a temper.
Yeah.
So, like I would lose my shit.
Mm.
And, like it's not fair
it's
to them.
Funny the way
and it's scary. Like my kids grew up afraid of me.
Right.
That's not good.
No.
That's not good. Like they were physically afraid of me. Like it got to the point if I moved really quickly, they would flinch.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what the fuck did I do to my kids?
Yeah. Right.
Right. Yeah. It's not because I beat them or anything.
No,
it was just
it's just your presence was.
Yeah, and I'm like my father.
Plus, you're a big motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
So. It's really interesting how things like play out generationally, right?
Oh, for sure.
And it's funny too, because like I was thinking about this part for a song. I'm hoping I can. I'm sure I'll incorporate it. But I was thinking like, I'm all the best parts of my mother and all the worst of my father. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's interesting the way things play out. Like I think about, I grew up for the formidable years of my life. Like the times where it's important, I'd say like 10 to 20. Because it's like when you're a baby, you don't fucking remember it anyway. I mean, that's where you get the most programming, probably.
No, actually, it's really, from what I understand and talking to the doctor, is the ages 1 through 3, especially for boys, they really need their father in their life. And
why is that?
Unfortunately, we didn't have that conversation. It was just basically like the ages of 1 to 3. So my son, I was there from 1 to 3, but still, it was and I think in general, kind of going back to what you said, and I could be wrong. I normally am. Just ask all my exes.
Same.
I think we all have the best and the worst of our parents.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have the best of your mom and the worst of your dad. I feel like you probably have the worst of your mom and the best of your dad.
I'm sure I do. It just sounded better in the song.
Exactly. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Oh
I get
my
it.
God.
But no, to be real, though, we all have the good and the bad in us.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was very temper. I had a bad. My fuse was like that.
Yeah.
And it's because.
And that's the thing with kids. It's like, man, like they don't actually like. It's just so crazy to think about a child as brand new to the world, right? So they don't even know like that they're being fucking annoying. No. Actually, what I've realized is all they want is attention. Because you've seen how he does that little like thing. You know what I'm saying? It's literally just because he literally just wants your attention.
And I was a no guy.
Mm.
Oh, don't touch that. Don't do that. Don't. And that's not good.
Mm.
It's honestly, it's very good. I wish I would have let my kids explore more instead of telling them, no, don't, stop, don't touch that, don't.
Because I feel like that plays out when they're older too more, because then they're more likely to just do fucked up shit, because, you know what I'm saying?
Well, or they're afraid to do stuff because they're going to get, somebody's going to tell me no, or that's wrong, or that's bad.
Yeah.
Right? Even good stuff, like starting a business or whatever, it's like, oh no, like, I was told no all my life, so I'm not going to be able to do that.
So it's not going to be easy, right?
No.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So if you can
it's a fucking trip.
Even incorporate that.
That's a trip in and of itself, for real.
Is just let them
figure it out.
Yeah, like have a safe space. Like don't let them obviously
fucking jump off the roof,
scissors and play with knives, but let them explore.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And also is if they get frustrated, like don't coddle them and say, oh, just basically say that sucks, eh? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, and let them figure it out. Mm-hmm. Don't go and fix it for them. Mm-hmm. Let them work on it and fix it and get frustrated and just be there and say, you know what, that sucks that you weren't able to put that piece together.
That's so true.
And and just let them keep trying.
On your journey for self-love, there's a lot of people that watch this that are younger that probably think about what that means. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I feel like, have a fucked up idea of what self-love is. I feel like, especially like, I don't know, I could be speaking on my ass here. Don't take it to heart. But I feel like for a lot of younger women, they feel like self-love is just not giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, oh, like self-love, like I'm just gonna go out, like I'm just gonna like party, like
no.
Especially for younger people though. You know what I'm saying? Like they just think like self-love means being selfish. But I don't necessarily know that.
No, I don't think. Like I think there's a little bit of. Like, you need to be selfish sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's important to have your own time, too, in your own space, right? Yeah. That's huge.
But for me, what I figured out is, like I was talking in the beginning, is, like, I'm my own cheerleader now.
Yeah.
I'm, like, I have an addiction.
Yeah.
And it's sugar.
Sugar. Yeah.
And I will literally, go out, and it's hilarious. Like, I'll go to the dollar store, and I'll buy chocolate bars and licorice and all that on the premise of, well, my kids like candy when they come over. Like, my daughter's always like, oh, you got any, sour keys or something like that?
Yeah.
So I go and I load up, and I know in my head, when I'm buying this, they're not going to see this shit.
No, you're going to crush it.
I'm going to crush it.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm justifying, all right. And then when I do it, I feel bad. I'm like, oh, I got to stop. But I'm like, well, I can't. And then So the other night, as I was literally about to crush a bunch of friggin' candy, and I'm like, no, you don't have. You can stop yourself.
Yeah.
You can do this, Bruce. You can. You don't have to eat this. Like, this is totally your choice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, yeah. I didn't.
So a lot of self-love is just being more self-aware.
Self-aware and like I said, being your own best friend.
Yeah.
Like, saying to yourself the shit that you would say to your friend. Mm-hmm. To lift them up or to get them feeling better. Mm-hmm. And also, too, is telling them the truth. Like, there's a best friend isn't the guy that... It's so hard to be honest with yourself about certain things, you know, because that involves pain a lot of the time. Yep. For real. Like, I mean, it does. There's not many things that you lie to yourself about that would be fun to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. I feel like a lot of... You know, what you have to be honest with yourself is, or really like look at the situation. It's just hard to, it's hard to look at yourself from a third person point of view and not react emotionally to things also. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It really is hard to make some decisions. Oh, exactly. And also too is a best friend isn't the guy that's, or the person that's always going to be like
a yes man.
Yes man. Like, a best friend is the one that's going to tell you shit that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's also what I'm doing is I'm telling my shit to myself, like, dude, like, you're hiding behind that. You're using that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the journey I'm on.
You mentioned some books. Do you have any that you'd like to share that are helping you along the way? Because I'd love to fucking...
Well, there's the one that I think I talked about. It's called How to Do the Work. It's more of a holistic...
How to do the work?
Yeah, How to Do the Work. And it deals with childhood traumas. Another one I think I mentioned these on the last is Mind Hacking Happiness.
I think I heard you say that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a gentleman named Sean Webb. So I've got his 2 books. I finished the first one. I just started the second one. It's amazing. It's just basically... Are
you like a book guy or are you an audiobook guy? Because I'm actually an audiobook guy.
I'm a book guy because... to be 100% honest, growing up, I wasn't the smartest kid. I was always in remedial reading, and right now I don't read very well. So I'm forcing myself to read to better myself.
Right.
So the last couple of weeks, because I was in BC, I didn't, but I normally try to read at least 10 pages a day.
Yeah.
And
so you can crush books that way, yeah.
Yeah, I'm forcing myself to read. Before, it was like I used to use the excuse, well, I'm not a good reader, so I'm not going to read.
Yeah.
Well, that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
And I would, I'm not a good reader, so I don't read. Well, now, you're not a good reader because you don't read.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting, right?
Right.
Man, talk to me a little bit more about BC. What else were you doing when you were out there? You went for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, so I was just chilling, living the life out there. Such a laid back. Like I said to my buddy,
nice recharge trip.
Oh yeah, we went downtown.
Yeah.
Gabriel's. I don't know if you ever. It's a breakfast place.
Okay.
So went there for breakfast the one day. And that's when I realized. I looked at him and I said, "Dude," and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "BC is like yoga meets skater."
Bro, it literally is. It's like business stoner.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like fucking meetings at 9, get stoned at noon, come back, finish the day, and we're all done at 4 because we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it really is. It is a different lifestyle. And like I was saying to you, like, honestly, if they had a better music scene, like, they just really don't.
Yeah.
I feel like they just really actually don't.
Probably, yeah. I don't think so.
I talked to my buddy Brent, shout out Brent that lives there. He's a lumber trader, and he's like, nah, man, no. He's like, Toronto's the place to be for that. He's like, 100%. He's like, it's not, like, for sure not. Like, if I was just a career barber and, like, maybe had a podcast, like, for sure go. Yeah. But it's just, like, because the music thing is so, like, I'm pushing so hard for that, it's just, like, it's looking more like a Toronto vibe for me, you know what I'm saying?
No, like, I just hung out with them, like I said, I did the tourist stuff. They took me.
That wasn't your first time, BC? No,
I've never been there before.
Really?
Yeah.
You had never gone there?
I've never gone there.
No way.
Yeah, so I know.
It's crazy.
I know. Like,
if you guys haven't been and you can go, like, just stop wasting time and go. And, you'll probably stay there. And, like, especially if you're from Ontario.
Well, everybody from Ontario. So I'm staying in this. Well, it's their cottage, but it's a house, and it's like totally off grid, which I was saying. But what I didn't realize, and I don't know if you saw this, was the people that live on their boats.
Okay, no, I didn't even see that.
So their like thing is on. No, it's not even houseboats. Like I'll show you pictures.
Just live on their boats?
Well, no, it's like even like some of them are like shitty looking. Like the one guy had a life raft, like a lifeboat, like from a ship, like the orange ones that they sit like this on the back and they launch. So you had one of those, a sailboat, and they're all rafted together, and that's where because they don't pay taxes.
No way.
There's no tax.
They just live on.
They just live on their boat. So there's no house, there's no insurance, there's no taxes, there's no nothing.
Just live on the boat.
So this young couple, they live on their boat right in front of their property by the dock, and they let them go on the property because there is fresh water there, so that's how they go and get their fresh water and stuff like that, other than bottled water. And if they have to do major work to something, like they are allowed to go on the shore and use the property to help work. And the doctor will actually, they're a young couple, probably in their 30s, maybe late 20s, and they'll hire the guy to like work on stuff. Like he's a part-time diver, so he $200, and he went down and he scraped all the barnacles off the boat for him.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of life out there. It's like, if you don't have, like, a lot of them don't have like full-time jobs. They just work to buy their food, and because they don't
pay for what they need. And I'm sure a lot of them have like my ex's sister lives with this really cool guy in BC now, and he does like freelance like copywriting. I'm pretty sure he built like some type of marketing agency. So like he'll just like, I'm not sure like where they live or anything, but he has like this fucking sick like Jeep with I think it's a Jeep with like the pop up on the back.
Yeah.
And like they're just
overlanding.
Like,
that's called when they do the overlanding with the pop up or the tent on the roof. And that pops it up.
That's how I'm pretty sure that's how his is. It's like over the whole. It's like it's fucking sweet though. And they're just always in different places. He's always like my office for the day is not bad, and it'll just be like him on his fucking MacBook, and there's just mountains everywhere. Like it's just a different kind of vibe, Like don't get trapped in your hometown, like, if you don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? There's so many places out there to go, like, there's so many places that I'm sure are even more beautiful than BC, but I mean, as far as Canada goes, I've been to the East Coast, I've been everywhere except for the East Coast.
East Coast is beautiful, too.
It's just, but it's real slow, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, the East Coast is real slow. Ain't no fucking music fucking getting made out there.
Well, other than the Newfie Jig or something.
Like, that's what I'm saying, right? So, man, it's interesting. That's actually, so this coming summer, I want to plan some type of tour. It'll either be in Ontario, just an Ontario tour, or like fuck it, we'll just do like Canada and probably lose money and just say fuck it. But I feel like there would always be a draw on the East Coast because there's not really much going on, right? Like, have you been to the East Coast?
Yep.
You have.
Yeah, I did the old Cabot Trail and everything.
Okay,
the tour
and that's beautiful too.
Oh, it was beautiful.
But there's no mountains though.
There's a few, like doing the Cabot Trail. Like we were driving and I had to drive up this mountain, and literally like there is no guardrail.
Okay.
And like the passenger is like, oh crap! Like and it's a one lane, so if another car's coming, in like the winter, it'll shut down because you can't get down or up this mountain.
What the fuck?
So, yeah,
crazy.
It's crazy. But
what do you like more? You like more BC or
BC was it was a lot.
Could you see yourself living there? Or do you like it here? You've been here your whole life.
I've been here my whole life. Well,
what keeps you here your whole life?
My daughter, my kids.
Yeah.
Both my son and my daughter. That's what's keeping me here.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, so this young couple, they invited them over for dinner.
Okay, yeah.
And we're sitting there, and her name's Kim. Well, she's a tattoo artist.
Okay.
So she's looking at me, and she's like, "Who did your ink?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm
Bruce
from Ontario."
Has some pretty sweet tats going on. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Ontario." She's like, "So, like, who did it?" And I'm like, "Oh, the guy's name's Daryl Hart. Shout out, Daryl." She's like, "Oh, on St. Paul Street in St. Catharines." I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, do you know Gordo?" I'm like, "Yeah, he owned the shop." So she knows.
It's a small world.
Oh yeah, so I took a picture and I sent it to Daryl, and he's like, "Yeah, it was like,
he knew her?
oh yeah." He's like, "Hey, Kim."
That's fun.
But she's from Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah, she's from, I think it was Beaton or.
Most people are. The cool thing about Vancouver is there's only like 500,000 people that live there.
And 99.9% are from Ontario.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Well, it's a totally off topic, but just tell you what a small world it is.
Beautiful.
Small world. So, and I get harassed about this all the time because I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I flew from Hamilton to Calgary, had an hour layover, and then flew from Calgary into Nanaimo. Mm-hmm. So on my way back, I flew from Nanaimo to Calgary, had a layover, and then flew back. So on the layover, I'm sitting the plane coming back from Calgary to Hamilton.
Do you stay on the plane during a layover?
No,
You get off.
I got off. And my one coming back, which sucked, is I messed it up. So I had 11-hour and 4-minute layover. So I got in there Monday night at 10:10. I didn't leave till 9:30 in the morning.
Oh no!
So I just crashed in the hotel, in the airport.
Yeah.
But literally, so I'm sitting on the plane. I look and I'm like, that can't be. That looks like Jake. And then all of a sudden I'm like, that is Jake, because there's his dad Dave. And I'm like, hey guys.
No
so
way.
yeah, so Dave and Jake, the last name is Malloy. I'm a big hunter and fisherman. They own a store in Port Colborne called Erie Tracker. So it's a hunting, outdoor fishing, and they're outdoor. So they were in Calgary elk hunting.
No way.
So
What's Calgary like, bro? I've never been. Oh yeah, what did the Stampede when I was younger?
What I know about Calgary is I can tell you where to get coffee in the 6 different spots in the airport, and that's about it.
Right?
I didn't leave the airport.
That's so funny, man. It's so funny the people you meet at the airport. Like when I was I think most of the times I've been flying, I've been drinking. So I always love to drink at the airport bar. It's like a vibe, you know what I'm saying? And like, man, it's just so funny. Like you'll just be chilling like next to some dude and just start talking. Next thing you know, you're all doing shots. And, like,
well, that
it's
happened.
a vibe, like.
That happened to me going there. So I forget what time my flight went. So I got to Hamilton, like going to BC, and it's 3-something in the morning, 3:30, 3:45 when I get dropped off. So I go and I grabbed a coffee and I sat and drank the coffee and all that. And then I went and checked in, because I think you can't check in till like 4 or whatever. So I checked my bag and then I went through security, and I was talking to this older couple. They were from Ireland.
Okay.
They've been here Scotland. Sorry, they've been here for years, like since the 70s, and So they went through first, and I went and I saw, and he was going up to get, I thought was a coffee. It's 4:20 in the morning. So he goes up and he orders and he turns around and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He ordered a Coors Banquet.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, it's 4, he's like, yeah. So I was like, I was going to have a coffee, but I'm going to take one of those.
Yeah,
so I'm like drinking a beer at 4:26 in the morning. I took pictures and sent them to my buddies, like, didn't know that you can order beer.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, 4:26 in the morning.
Which airport was that?
Hamilton.
What?
Yes.
Of course it would be in Hamilton.
But it was the same thing in Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah. Like, so in the morning, once, like the restaurant, I had breakfast at, it was a Chili's in the airport. And I had a Corona with my breakfast. At
Perfect.
4:50.
It's vacation, baby.
It was. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's so funny, man. Oh, man. Talk
Well-
about your sailing trip a little bit too, bro.
Oh, my
How
God.
That
was
sick. You sent some fucking sweet pictures of that.
Oh, that was-
an Ontario thing?
So, well, it was...
And who is that? Just one of your buddies?
Yeah, so like I said, his name's Daryl Ireland. I think he's 51% owner of Evolve MMA and Fitness, which is Niagara Top Team.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So he owns
Okay.
he owns. Like I said, there's multiple owners in there, but I
Yeah.
think he owns like 51%. So he's the majority shareholder. But
Yeah.
he owns the whole plaza. He has multiple businesses. He has multiple rental
He's doing
homes.
pretty
Like,
good, yeah.
he owns a house in Costa Rica.
He's chilling.
Yeah, so he's doing fine.
How old is he? Like
He's-
your age?
Yeah, just a little bit younger than me, like
Yeah.
40 something.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good for him.
So he's doing okay.
That's remarkable.
So yeah, so we left Port Dalhousie and we went all down the American side.
Okay.
So
wow.
first night we sailed for like 8 hours and we got into a small town called Wilson.
Okay.
So we at a yacht club there, we pulled in, stayed the night, left at like 6 in the morning, sailed, like there was a storm behind us, so we actually they call it motor sailing, so we had the sails up and the motor going.
Oh, shit,
so we were trying to beat this storm.
Trying to get past it, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
because it was coming up behind us. So then
Holy
we
fuck. That's
we
kinda
went
scary.
to Rochester.
Okay,
So
yeah,
we
yeah.
stayed in Rochester for 2 nights, and oh my God, like I said, I was a volunteer firefighter and paramedic over in Lewiston, New York for many years.
Fuck yeah.
I've had good dealings with Americans. I've had bad dealings with
course.
Americans.
Of course.
I've never had so much fun. Oh my God. So we pull into Rochester, get the boat all tied up. We go into the main office where the bar is to register. And so the manager was like, okay, like signing the paperwork and doing all that. And he goes, okay, I'll take you outside and I'll point to like where everything is kind of.
How does that work if you're Canadian and you're like going around the American side? Like you got to just show them your passport?
No, so you have to, hopefully there's nobody of importance. No offense, but
Yeah.
watching this. So you're supposed to you're supposed to
Leave Daryl alone.
Yeah. So we're supposed to call when we're in the water. Call American Customs, and we basically had a video chat with
Okay.
American Customs. We had to show them our passport, give them the name of the boat, and you need a special license for the boat. Like there's a sticker, so we had to give them the number and show them the sticker on this video call. But you're supposed to do that in the lake. But we got into Wilson and like we're there for like a couple hours, and then we talked to
Like,
somebody.
oh, I
'cause-
guess we should check in.
well, no, because
With America.
he's never done this before.
Yeah.
So there was a boat from Toronto. So we're like, Daryl goes up and he's like, hey, like what? And then they're like, well, you're supposed to do that out there before you actually come in and dock and
Yeah.
touch land.
Yeah.
So we were there for like a couple hours. And then
Oh,
we're like,
well, fuck
yeah.
it, you know.
So we basically had that video and we told them how long we were going to be in the States. And then once we got into Kingston, we did the same thing with the Canadian Customs. We had to it wasn't a video call, it was just a phone call. You know, gave them our passport numbers and they're like, hey, did you have anything to declare? I had, like we had some beer, I had a bottle of wine. Like,
Yeah.
So anyways, so Rochester, we go in, the manager is like, I'll take you out, and this guy steps up and he goes, where are you guys from? I said, well, we're from Canada. Get these guys a drink.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, so a beer, he paid, and then he took us on a 4-hour drunken tour of all the bars and everything in the marina of Rochester. This guy, his name's Johnny Pugs.
Okay. Shout out.
Shout out to Johnny Pugs. Oh my God, what a shit show that was. It was
Yeah.
amazing. So we went, he knows everybody. Like it turns out like at the end of it, after the about 3.5 hours, we go to his boat, which is like a 75-foot, $2 million yacht.
Damn.
Yeah, like this thing was, so we're drinking
That's
there.
what I want. I don't want a sailboat. I want like.
Yeah, power, like that's what this
Yeah,
was,
like
right?
a
So, but
fucking
we were
cruiser.
from bar to bar to bar to bar to bar, not paying for
This
a
is
drink.
like all in the marina?
Yeah, this was at the marina that we stayed because so Daryl belongs to the Port Dalhousie Yacht Club.
Okay.
And the yacht clubs, normally every yacht club has a reciprocation. If you belong to a yacht club, so he belongs to Port Dalhousie.
Okay.
So we went to we basically stayed at yacht clubs because he would get a night free without having to pay.
Okay.
And some of them, the first night's free, but a lot of them the second night's free because they want to make money off you.
Yeah.
So you got to pay the first night, but the second night because they want to get some money from you.
Yeah.
But a lot of them,
Makes
they
sense.
just the ones we went for the one night, they didn't charge.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so we stayed there 2 nights. We did this. We met all these people. We drank for free.
That's sweet.
Oh, like it was amazing. So then we stayed a second. So this is Sunday. So now it was O'Loughlin's. It was an Irish bar, and we met. So Daryl and I go walking the next day to O'Loughlin's. Soon as we walk in, it was like cheers. Hey!
Yeah.
To us, right? Oh my God. They would not let us pay for a drink.
Wow.
I was doing magic.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh yeah, I was doing magic all over the place.
Had to.
Oh yeah, you have to, right?
Had to.
So I'm doing magic for them, and then so Mike was the owner, right? So we met Mike, his wife Sarah, right? Like,
Wow.
oh yeah, his Sarah's brother Mark is a
Yeah.
bartender. His kids work in the kitchen. Mark's kid, like, so it's a
Really?
family run, and they had these shirts, and it said O'Loughlin's on the back, and it had a saying, or on the front, it had a saying on the back, and I'll get to it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, Mike, I said, like, I see these T-shirts. Are they for sale? He goes, well, kind of. He's like, why? I said, because I want to buy one. Like, this is awesome. Like, I just want to,
remember it. Yeah.
And he's like, what size? And I'm like, I'm a large. So he goes up, throws me a large, throws Daryl a T-shirt. I'm like, well, how much? He goes, fuck off.
Yeah.
So wouldn't even let us pay for the shirt. And on the back it said,
Everybody who says Americans are assholes, like, shut up.
yeah, well, there's a lot of them that are, but there's some that aren't.
Yeah.
But on the back it said, why Irish fight each other is because they cannot find another worthy opponent.
See, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That is great marketing.
Yeah, so I have this T-shirt. It's yeah,
Wow.
but it was, and so Johnny Pugs, he messages and gives us, because we were going into it was called Fairhaven.
Okay.
So it was another little port, or another marina, and all that. And there was what was the why can't I think of the name of the restaurant? But we literally pulled up to the restaurant with the boat, like it had docks. So Johnny Pugs had already messaged this guy, so he was expecting us. But before, and I'm sorry, and I know this is. Oh, I don't even know if I should say this or not. Well, remember, did I tell you like the kind of like the joke with that vlog or that video I sent you?
What was it?
Two straight guys.
No, I don't remember.
So I hope this doesn't offend any, and it's just funny. Please,
I'm
don't
sure
chirp.
I've said more fucked up
Well,
shit.
no, because I was joking around because I'm sailing with my buddy and we're doing. So we pull up before we pulled up to this restaurant. There's in this big massive bay. There's a winery and it has its own dock. So we literally pulled the boat up, went up and did a wine tasting.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
I was.
Sounds like a fucking time.
Oh, it was, but I was joking around taking videos, and it was two straight guys doing gay shit.
Yeah.
That's right. So my whole thing was too great. So I was I've never trolled off the back of a sailboat. So we're fishing, we're trolling.
That's the best way to fish.
Oh, so
Trolling.
Yeah. So I'm sending it to my fishing buddies, and I'm like, yeah, it's two straight guys doing gay shit. Never thought I'd troll off the back of a sailboat. And I'm like, I said, well, the fishing's not gay, but the sailing definitely is.
Yeah, right? Was it just you guys?
Yeah, it was just us
That's
two.
sick.
Yeah, it was just us two.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and
That
then.
was your first time sailing?
Oh no, I was in Sea Cadets.
Oh.
So yeah, so no, that's why he wanted, because I know how to say like.
Right,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean-
an actual thing. Like you
Yes.
actually have to know like what you're doing.
Yes, yeah,
'Cause I've been
the
watching
points of.
Vikings right now, and like you know the show Vikings.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's fucking wicked.
Yeah,
eh?
no, yeah, there's like all the points of sales, like you
Yeah.
know, running, yeah, it's. You gotta
What
know,
a
yeah.
time,
Oh,
man.
it was.
Oh, my God.
It's been. I'm a blessed person. Like,
Would you say you're having like one of the best years of your life?
Oh, for
right now?
sure.
Yeah.
and that's what I
Every
was
time
basically.
see you, you're glowing, you know, like you're
Well,
really
it's-
just like, and I'm just like, damn.
Well,
I love
because
to see that because I see a lot of people like in their 40s, 50s that are just fucking done.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just and like that's why I feel like we get along so well. Is because like you know. I don't know. We just get along really well.
Mm-hmm.
I've always gotten along with older people, but like man, like me and you are just like boys. Like,
Oh, I
just
know.
feel like it's just lit. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait for this first tour. Like I hope you'll come. Like
Oh,
it'll just be
dude.
fucking.
like I said,
it's gonna be
I got my
fun. It's gonna
security
be
license
good.
now. I'll be your
Yeah, you heard that, right?
yep,
You
your
heard that.
bodyguard.
That's
So-
sweet, bro. You know what? It's inspiring to see because it's like you know you've had a tough life. You know
Mm-hmm.
you've had a tough life.
I've had a tough life, and that's basically, and this is part of the self-love, is realizing, like I thought, like I had a bad divorce. I'm a 52-year-old guy that lives in a one-bedroom apartment. Like I don't have a house. I don't have retirement savings. Like we were just talking about that. You thought, oh, you're fit. I'm like, no, I'm fucked. So realizing.
What does that look like for you then? Like, how does that work? Like, how do you like? You know what I mean? You didn't like invest. You're not. You
Well,
weren't
it
an
was.
investing guy or anything.
Well,
like
it
that,
was because
or of the divorce and shit.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I got
it's crazy.
I got
It's like,
hosed
guys get
really.
rinsed
I
in that
got the R word.
Like that's fucked up. Like no. Like man, it's sad to see how that happens.
Yeah.
Man. It's
Yes.
sad, bro.
And
You know?
but also going back to the self-love, a lot of that I might have been able to overcome that a little bit better because, to be honest, I was almost using that as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to like my ex-wife took everything, so I don't have to work my ass off anymore because
because I already tried.
yeah, and it got ripped away and it didn't
Yeah.
work, and it was like, but I was using the excuse of like, because you pay child support on how much money you make.
I know.
So if I'm working another job to help better myself, well, I'm not helping better myself because the more
You're
money I
getting
make,
rinsed
the more
from
money
that.
I give to her.
Yeah.
So like even the place I was working at, the one factory, like they wanted everybody to work overtime, and I'm like, nope,
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I don't do it because I'm not going to work my ass off, so she can.
Yeah.
But also using that as an excuse,
Yeah.
right? So I might have been able to do something, but in my head I'm like,
Were you
poor Bruce, he
Yeah.
got raped. Oh, sorry, he got.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I know, but
that's just an expression. Yeah.
but he
Fucking,
got screwed over. He can't do any better. So that's part of the self-love now, is knowing like
No
hey,
excuses,
yeah.
right? No
So
excuses.
you know what though, like we've talked about my mother and all that. She always called me the Phoenix. From the ashes rises the phoenix. So
Yeah.
no matter what happens, I will always
Yeah.
come above. So I have faith that like everything's gonna work out.
Yeah.
If not, then they're suicide.
Yeah. Soundbite.
Exactly.
Oh man, that was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I always know I joked about that because I'm like, everybody talks about Freedom 55. I said, I have Freedom 55. And they're like, you do? I'm like, yeah, 55 years old. Boom. Listen, there's freedom. Because I'm going to be working until I'm 80.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Oh, it was a slogan on TV for retirement. Like if you invested properly,
Freedom 50.
you could be retired at 55.
Why do you think it takes I feel like I've been pretty self-aware of the fact that like I wanted to go hard and grind since I was like 19.
Mhm.
Well, even since like 18 when I was like fucking around doing crazy shit. But why do you think it takes people so long to retire? Like, do you think it because it's so hard to amass the amount of income? Because you need at least like $1 million.
Oh, really more than that.
Properly retire.
More.
Like, yeah, like
more.
Like more.
Honestly,
your house paid off probably and $1 million.
Oh yeah.
You know,
or if not more. And I think honestly, right now, if we even want to get down that road, especially like inflation and everything, like now people are screwed. Like the way things are going with houses and all that, like the amount that interest rates are rising, a lot of people are going to be losing their house because
it's terrible.
Because
after the 3 years you have to
depending how long you can do a mortgage, 3 years, 5 years, whatever.
Amortization.
Amortization, yes.
Me and my shout out Lundy. Me and Lundy were looking at houses last night, right? We were looking at houses and you know, specifically like ones in Toronto because I'm thinking about moving there.
Oh God!
We're just looking at like what it is. Well, you know what? To be fair though, like you can like it's in certain fucked up places and like some of them are condos. But the thing that I thought was fucked wasn't even really like the prices of things. Because, like, sure, like, I mean, there's, like, $6-7 million houses in Toronto, but they're fucking sick. You know what I'm saying?
But there's also $3 million houses that are this house that you're living in.
I know. It's actually fucked. The thing that I thought was super fucked is when we checked, like, the mortgage calculator, like, TD mortgage calculator, it was, like, oh, man, it was so fucked. It was, like, on this $5 million house. What was it? It was, like, it was on a $500,000 house. We did it for a house around here. And it was like over 3 years, it would have been more like $1 million house. It was like over 3 years you paid, like it was like $70,000 or something like that. And the amount of that went to principal, which is what you owed, was like $11,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, so you're telling me that like I just over the course of 3 years spent $70,000 and I only paid off 11 G's of what I actually owe. I just paid the bank the rest. And he's like, yeah. And he explained it to me, and it was like a big reason why they're doing that is to try to like reset the GDP. Is that what it is? Or some shit like that. They're trying to reset the amount because COVID fucked everything. Right?
Well, and it's also...
Is that what happened? COVID fucked everything up?
Well, no, the government's fucked everything up, and we don't really... I don't know if we want to go down this rabbit hole because I'm the guy that thinks that, like, I believe, like, we might not even be here in a few years.
Mm.
Like, the way the world's going, like, I follow, like, underground news stuff, and, like, the war is not good that we're having. Ukraine, and there's a couple of people that have been saying stuff, and everything they've been saying is true, and you might hear it here, folks, is in the next few months, get ready for lockdowns.
Right. I've heard about that too.
And what they're saying is what they want to do is they want to basically, from what I understand, is the next COVID that comes out. So the last one had a 1% kill rate, which wasn't bad. The next one that they're saying is coming out is a 10% kill rate, which is terrible. It's horrible. Like, there'll be police officers and military with like chem suits and respirators on, basically not allowing you out of your house. And what they're saying is they need to do this, like the United States needs to do this to stop the war, because the American dollar is in trouble, huge right now. Like, the American economy is probably going to collapse in the next few years, if not sooner. Sorry to freak everybody out, and if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be nuclear war. Like, Putin just had meetings with Kim Jong-un from North Korea.
Really?
Yeah. And now North Korea is going to be supplying Russia with nuclear weapons. Like we're fucked. We are. Right. Like, if it goes that far, and some people are saying they need this kill rate to make everything so dangerous, so everything shuts down, even the war. They need to do this to stop this war from happening so that nobody's hitting the nuclear button.
Fuck.
So
I hope that doesn't happen.
I know.
You're
So
wrong, Bruce.
so that's why, like we said before,
I'm coming to your house.
yes, yeah.
Crazy.
But I'm what they call a prepper, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, no, I used to. That was a problem. Is I used to. No, but I used to. I didn't like telling people because I get looked at like I'm fucking insane. I get like you're a conspiracy.
I think it's your life, and I think you're.
Yeah. No, I know, but I was caring what people thought of me.
Right.
I was not saying because of my self-esteem. I want people to like me, so I'm not going to tell you I'm a prepper because you're going to look at me like I got 3 eyes, and I'm like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you're one of those guys, right? So, and I've had that. I've lost relationships because of that.
If don't you think that if they locked everybody down again, though, that like there would be like a real mass like people like going crazy, like fucking.
I think there'd be
blasting
rebellion.
shit and fucking blowing shit up.
I think there'd be
Going
rebellion.
crazy.
Like I know there's a lot of people, especially what's come out lately about like the actual vaccine and how it really did nothing, and like it was just it's a moneymaker. Like that's what everything is all about, money and keeping the people with money to get more money, and then us to have less money.
Yeah.
The World Economic Forum, you can go on their website. They have a motto, and it's true. It's on the website. You can look at it. You will own nothing and like it. They're talking about we won't even own our own clothes. We will rent our clothes.
Yeah, that's fucked.
In the 15-minute cities, and they're already kind of doing that. Like, look at all these, like in Grimsby, with all those condos and everything, but all the businesses underneath. Like grocery, like everything, so you don't have to go for it. You can stay in your building. You go down, work out at the gym that's in Grimsby. They have like Grimsby Fitness.
But I think a lot of that might just be convenience, right? Like, cause like to me, like I mean, like I would be sick.
No, it is, but it's control. They want control. They want people to have to rely on them. Like they really don't want, like in the States, it's more in the States. Like they call them homesteaders. They basically. They might do something to make some money, but they grow their own food. They need some money for gas and stuff like this, but they don't need a lot of money because they're producing their own food. They're self-sufficient. Yeah, they have either solar or whatever they're doing to. Well, they don't. A lot of these people have wells.
Yeah.
So the United States, they went around. They did two things. They went around and they started saying, okay, you got a well, so we're going to put a meter on that well, so now you're going to have to pay for that water.
That's fucked.
And a garden over a certain size, now they're going to tax that.
That's crazy.
They don't want people...
I just think like it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I really try not to even like think about that shit because like I've done too many mushrooms.
I know, but it's one of those like you don't want to think about it, but... I don't want to think about it, but I don't want to be that guy caught with this. I've always been that kid that's always been prepared. Like I was in Boy Scouts.
It's a good thing to be.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and I don't, like I said, I'm not walking around thinking, oh, like I hope that nothing happens. I don't want shit to happen, but if it does,
at least you're not fucking fucked.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I have lots of pews to protect myself and
legendary.
Yes.
Fucking you're just a very fascinating guy, bro. I feel like there's so many. What do you think the next chapter of your life's gonna be? Like, I feel like you're coming. I don't know if you're coming to the end of like this self-love journey, but you've kind of figured it out almost.
No, well, I think I'm just starting. Like,
really?
As much as yes, I am doing the self-love and all that, but I think by doing what I've been doing is kind of opening these doors, and I'm starting to see because I didn't think of myself as self-worth. But like this summer, like I was like, I'm broke. I'm not going to be able to go. I'm going to be sitting around doing nothing. And this has been one of the best fucking summers of my life. And I think I owe that to opening my mind and realizing, hey, even though you don't maybe have a lot of monetary shit, but you're loved. You have people that love you. You have people like I said,
that's
like
real currency too. Is
yes,
relationships.
Yeah,
you know.
Like I said, I went away basically for 3 weeks this summer, and I didn't pay for a damn thing. Well, I shouldn't say that. When I was in Mexico, when I was in Nanaimo, same thing, Mexico and Nanaimo.
What trip are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. No, like the one day finally, like my buddy let me pay for lunch, which was $50, and my one we talked about. My parents have both passed, so my best friend Paul His parents have adopted me, so I call his parents mom and dad. And it was funny when I got back. My buddy picked me up from the airport, and he's like, I gotta thank you. And I'm like, for what? Like, you're picking me up? He goes, no. He's like, what you do for my parents? Like, you make them smile. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, well, you were away in BC. I said, yeah. He said, but you wished mom a happy birthday because when I was away, it was her birthday. So I just
Send her a text.
It was actually through Facebook because I was busy and all that. So I was just like, hey, and I was like, happy birthday, mom, and and it made her day.
Yeah.
He's like, you have
because I feel like what happens with a lot of people, with a lot of older people, especially, is I feel like they get forgotten about.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a sad thought, I really do feel that way. I was cutting an older gentleman's hair the other day, and he was saying how, like, you could tell he was sad when I just first encountered him. He wasn't very social, like he was very closed off, and I refuse to like accept that from people most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Talk, motherfucker, talk.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, what's wrong with this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just in my nature. It's just really in my nature to like try and see if I can like help a little. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got talking, and then he had just mentioned like yeah, my wife passed away, like, and you could tell that like I asked about his kids, and he's like, no, like I don't really see them that much, and that's sad to me.
Yeah.
That's so sad to me. And it's like I think about like how could you just let that happen to people? But it's hard to cover all the bases for people, and I understand that. I try and call my grandparents as much as possible and shit like that, but it's sad. I feel like that's why it definitely did make her day. Because I feel like she probably thought a lot of people were gonna wish her happy birthday. That probably fucking did.
Maybe, yeah. You don't know. But on that topic is like I said, I do magic, and a couple weeks ago, I was out downtown having a beer at the Merch, and they know me there. I do magic and all that. So a couple people were outside, and I was doing something. And this guy just happened to walk by, and he kind of stopped. So I did something for him, and at the end, he was like, "I really needed that. Thank you so much." He's like, "I've been having a fucking bad week," and he goes, "You took some time and you did that just for me." And he goes, "I thank you for that."
Yeah.
And that's why I do it. Like I love making people's day with magic and making people smile. But that being said, there's fucking idiots out there too that just want to bust your balls and try to think that they know exactly what you're doing, and it's
Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like encountered that.
Be amazed, bitch.
Well, and that's I encountered that in Rochester at that old Laughlin. So I was doing magic, and she was a bartender, and she got off work. So I have this one routine that I do. So she was standing there talking to somebody, and I was talking to the owner, and she came over and all that, and I'd been doing magic, and she looked at me and I'm like, "Hey," I said, "Do you believe in the law of attraction?" And she's like, "What?" I said, "Do you believe in the law of attraction?" So I pulled out the cards and I started doing something, and I'm like, "Okay," I said, "So now what I want you to do is I want you to tell me the card, because people like to lie to me." She's like, "No, I'm not telling you the card." I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "You're supposed to tell me." I'm like, "But that's not the trick. But the trick I'm doing isn't me telling you what your card is." She's like, no, and she just was a bitch.
Yeah, like, okay, bitch.
Yeah, and she was just, well, that's exactly, so
fuck you.
So it got to a point where that's exactly, I'm like, okay, whatever, like I said, this is not working, this is not, I said, I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry for bothering you, and I put the cards back in the box, and she's like, oh, so that's like, what? I said, well, you think you know what I'm doing, and you want me to tell you the card.
Classic women ruining fun.
Exactly, right? So I said, but that wasn't what I was doing. Oh. She's like, what were you doing? I said, well, why didn't you just do what I said? She's like, well, so you can't tell me what the card is? And I looked at her, and I said, I can do, now I'm pissed. I'm like, I can do one fucking better. She's like, what? And I pulled her card, the box was away, and I pulled her card out of my pocket.
Damn.
And she was like, okay, that was impressive.
Yeah, fuck you.
But I got to the point where I was like I wasn't pissed. Like,
it's annoying though. Yeah. It's like just that. It's just like that fucking. I don't know if that's like what that is. If that's just the desire to like fucking. I don't know. Like be special because you disrupted like the flow of like what somebody was doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You know what? Who knows? She could have been having a bad day. I don't think so, because she was laughing and joking, but. You know what? Like it just.
I feel like a lot of people like just feel the need to feel special for like no reason. Also, and like you know, like, we had that show at the park on Saturday or whatever.
Sorry, I missed it, man.
No, dude, it's totally cool, man. It was it was time. Like, it's just such.
And I missed. I was pissed at Mr. Warehouse show because of my procedure. I could hardly
That's
walk.
okay. That's
I was so messed up.
We have many to come.
I know, but I was so messed up. I think I told you.
I think so.
I thought I was messaging you, but I was messaging Pine.
Yeah.
And I thought it was you.
Yeah.
So that's how drugged out I was.
Yeah,
I was
it
on
gets-
fentanyl.
It gets fucking
Yeah,
disoriented.
so,
right?
yeah.
That was the nerve block.
Yeah, that was the
work?
radio frequency. Yeah, like
How are you feeling right now?
good. Yeah.
Good.
So, but like I said, I was so in pain from the actual, like, my back. I could not. My leg was fine. It was my back because they go in with, which to me feels like two needles that are the size of fucking toonies. Like, they're pretty big. Like, they leave a big hole in the, like, not a big hole, but you're talking, like, I don't know, but it's
Yeah, it's invasive.
and it's going into my spine.
Yeah.
So my back was fucked. Like I said, I was on fentanyl for a day and a half. Like,
Oh my god.
yeah. So I was
like a pill they give you?
no, it was like
Wow.
and they so much that it lasted. Like there's a mixture that I forget. I think it's fentanyl, morphine. I don't know if it's propofol, but anyway, they call it the happy juice. Well, it lasts for a while because it's also the painkiller, right?
For sure.
But yeah, so I was messed up. Could hardly walk, and like I said, I thought I was messaging you, and I was talking to Pine because I explained. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm not going to make it and then.
Well, still, you know, it relayed the information anyway. You know?
Oh, did it get to you?
Yeah. I think he said, like, yeah, Bruce messaged me. He said he can't make it, but fucking.
Well, no, because
No, it was-
what it was is he messaged me, and he was like, now I remember. He was like, hey, Uncle Bruce, just, you know, the show's tonight. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
And I thought it was you. So I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, and I'm sorry I'm not going to make it. But for some reason, I swear, like, I would have bet everything that I have that I was talking to
funny.
you.
Oh my
And I was
God.
talking to Pine.
We have to put out that song that we made, man.
Oh.
It was something special. I'm actually getting into I'd love to play you some songs. We'll wrap this up soon, and then I'd love to play you some songs off the new project.
Oh, I'd love to. And I'd love to.
Because what I'm thinking is, this is like my first debut album.
Yep.
That is basically done. I'd love to have you do some type of like interlude, like you know, there's like interludes where people are talking, like almost telling a story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Dude.
saying? I'd love to have you do something like that, or like,
Dude,
you're a very fucking talented guy.
Well-
you really are like.
Oh, thank you, because that's part of my self-esteem. I don't think that's my thing. It's like I don't feel like I have anything to offer. But I'm
Quite the
learning.
contrary.
Like, obviously, I do.
When can the people expect the Uncle Bruce show?
Exactly.
Because like it's the Uncle Bruce show. You know what I'm saying? Like when can the people expect that from you, bro? Like you need a fucking podcast.
I know, and I was talking to
You
the
need
people
a
out in
podcast.
BC.
Oh,
Even like our mutual friend that you know, Jerry. Like even
Yeah.
having him on my show.
Yeah.
Like I've been thinking about trying to line
Bro,
people
you
up.
can just have, bro. Once you start, like, I'm only 21. Like, I know a fucking plethora of people that I can put on that mic without even starting to cold message people.
Yeah.
The thing about a podcast too that I find that is really nice, especially I was like, I can't really fucking judge when it's down to come on.
Oh, yeah.
It pertains to their self-interest, though. Like, it's promoting that.
Yeah.
You know.
Off topic,
Yeah.
it's hilarious. No, talking about Jerry. So he's bodyguarding Stallone at TIFF on Saturday.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Shout out Jerry. That's
Yes,
big.
yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I
Are
was.
you going?
No, I was hoping to. Like, it's a whole.
It's an application crazy thing. Or
No,
what?
well, legal.
Mhm.
There's legal issues.
Really? Eh? What?
I'm on WSIB.
Oh.
I can't work.
Yeah.
Right, so I'd like to.
Yeah,
I
you
right
don't
now
wanna fuck
because
with
it's
that. Yeah,
funny
yeah.
because like even
You
when
can't
it's
just volunteer?
Well, no. Well, I probably could, but it's one of those things. Like I was having a chat with my doctor in BC. Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with that, right?
No,
'Cause it's
exactly.
Like, you don't need to. That's the last thing you need to
well,
do.
that's my income.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not working. You can't fucking work.
No, I'm pensioned off. Like
Yeah.
they will pay me until I'm age of 65,
Yeah.
and then I don't know what to do after that. Which is funny, is because it's like I'm like age of 65, and I'm like,
Don't worry, Bruce,
13
bro.
years from now.
Bro, 13 years from now, we'll be fucking loaded. Sincerely.
Or we're dead.
Fucking... I don't think we're gonna be dead. I really don't.
I
I really
hope
don't.
not.
I think a part of you has to be more hopeful. For real. You know?
Not when you know what I know.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I had to stop with the conspiracy. with reading. Well, I know what you're saying. I had to stop with it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I was getting depressed.
It does. It makes you depressed. It's
does.
like, you know what? At the end of the day, too, I'm Christian. I just believe, you know what? If I die, I'm gonna be in a better place here anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
You
for
know.
sure.
So.
No, we had that's what I want to have my buddy on, because like the conversations we had, like the conversations that I had with my buddy out in BC was just amazing. Like we talked about, and even like just being
talk, brother. Like,
people on this earth, and like especially with the ketamine and psychedelics, and how we're all connected, we're all energy.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh yeah, like we
A lot
had
of it
some
goes down
very
energy.
deep conversations, and that's what I mean, like to have him on. This
was
guy's
huge.
knowledge, especially his dad that's the doctor. I would love to. So he, the doctor.
you should do it, man. You really should. I'm gonna push you to do it.
I'm going to. They're pushing me to do van life.
Oh, what's that?
Where you live in a van, like
Just go around.
Just go around.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Well, they literally want me to come out and be like their caretaker for the Cortez, their property.
Wow.
So
That's a hell of an opportunity.
oh, I know, because his dad was like, "Hey, like you're WSIB, you're pensioned off." He's like, "There's nothing saying that you can't come out here for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months."
No. Yeah.
So
Fuck no.
So they, I taught. It is hilarious. Like I taught these people stuff that they've never ever. So they live on this. Well, they have. It's their getaway. It's not their full-time residence. They have 130 acres with this beautiful. They use it a few months out of the year. And
for that, man. That's
so I went
fucked.
there, and we went because they don't know fishing. They buy the fish. Meanwhile, like pulling up because of where their house is, so that it's called Gorge Harbor.
Okay.
So, but their house is on the ocean side. Like it's the harbor is the ocean, obviously, but the weather is a lot worse on that side. So they have their dock in the gorge, and it's so there's a road. They have a road there's no road access to their place. They have a four-wheeler.
How do they get there? By boat?
Yeah. So what they do
it's
is
like it's a fucking vibe out there.
yeah. Oh yeah. So if you look, do you see Gorge Harbor?
I'm looking at her right now.
Do you see where like there's a marina?
Yeah, I see the
So
marina.
they keep a 14. They call it a skiff. It's a 14-foot aluminum that stays there.
Yeah.
And when they drive their car, you need 2 ferries. So you take a ferry from the Nanaimo, I think it's Campbell River or whatever,
Yeah.
and then Campbell River over to Cortez. So they have this.
BC's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. So they hop in the boat, and it's not that far. So they have a bigger boat there, but their dock is in the harbor, but their house is on the actual ocean. Like seals. I never did see any whales. I was hoping to.
I saw some seals, I think.
Yeah, there's tons of seals, and anyway, so
cute.
But like literally, when we pulled up, there's oysters like all over the place. Wow. And they don't. So I took them out fishing, and I was showing them how to troll, and they don't have fishing equipment. So I'm like literally like jerry rigging shit up, and caught salmon.
Wow.
And
Yeah, I think I've seen a picture of you with some fish.
yeah, so I caught. Well, the one was a lingcod.
Okay.
So I caught that. I caught a couple off the rocks. So that was the one day. Caught a couple of lingcod, and then the next day we went out, caught some salmon. That was in the morning, and then Jesse and I went out not in the big boat, in the skiff, and we went out into the big ocean.
Yeah.
And we were trolling around. I caught some rockfish and that, nothing huge. So then he's like, "Hey, do you want to check out this? It's called Manson's Landing."
Yeah.
So we went and docked the boat because there's a marina there. We docked the boat and we went walking. The tide was low, and I'm like, "Oh, what are those guys doing? They're clamming." I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "What? You want to clam?" I'm like, "Sure." We had nothing. He had a baseball hat, so we filled this base. We're digging clams.
What,
Fresh
in the
clams.
sand?
Yeah, they're in the sand. Like it's a
What?
rock. Yeah, it's the ocean. So when the tide goes
Clams
out,
are like the ones that have the pearl in them.
no, that's
That's
oysters.
an oyster.
And then you have mussels.
Right.
Which
so
are the
clams
black
like the
ones?
same thing, though? It's
Yeah.
Like, but it's like more of a disc.
No, I can show you pictures. They're
Yeah.
more.
Only things you can do in BC, folks.
Oh yeah.
It's just different, man. Oh, fuck.
Where's-
Do you have pictures of the house?
Oh yeah.
I'd love to see pictures.
So this is the baseball hat with
Oh, wow, yeah.
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
clams
yeah,
in it.
Yeah.
right. So they're like about this big,
Yeah.
like depending. So there's probably 100 and something clams there.
Yeah.
So I go back, cook clams, the ling cod, pan fried that, and I did the salmon in the oven, like a whole salmon. And like these people were like, and they ate and were like, oh my god! And they're like, the best part of this is this was free. Like they're used to paying like out of their ass for fresh salmon.
Yeah.
And we went and did it.
Caught one. Crazy.
Caught
And it was
salmon.
nice, eh?
Oh, it was beautiful. Like, it was, I've never had.
I love salmon.
I've never had a better tasting salmon.
Clams are good too.
Oh, they were amazing.
I had some oysters at
And the ling
when I
cod,
was wedding.
oh my god, the most nicest white, fleshy. It was like silk. Like when it went in your mouth, it just
Dissolved.
dissolved, and it was like silky and it
Fuck
was
me.
so good.
Fuck me. We need to go next time. Next time we go to BC.
Yep, we're going.
You're
Yeah.
coming.
So I was like, I pan fried it with garlic and butter and all that, and I'm basting. So I'm taking the spoon and putting like
Yeah.
hot butter on it. Oh, it was like they were.
So like, when are you moving?
Oh, so the doctor, he's hilarious. So he's got a picture of me holding this. So that's his screen, like his lock screen is me holding the salmon. Like,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
So it's funny. Like, I know these people unfortunately can't see
No,
this,
that's okay.
but so the first night I'm on Cortez, we're out sitting on this rock, just the sun's coming down, and my doctor's like, "Hey, we need a selfie." I'm like, "Okay." So he. Nope, that's sailing. I got so many pictures I got to go through here.
This is Bruce's wild summer.
Oh, yes.
Man, Bruce had a way better summer than me. What the fuck? That's good, man. I'm happy for you.
So,
bro.
it
Really.
was.
It's a beautiful thing.
Where's?
You're definitely gonna come on some sincerely trips. Next
Oh,
year.
let's do it.
For sure. I don't
That's-
know what we're gonna do because we've done BC already. We did the Vancouver tapes.
So he's like, "We need a selfie." I'm like, "Okay." So then he grabs me.
He's 74.
Yeah.
It looks fucking good.
So he's like 74, 75. So he's like got me in a headlock
Yeah.
and pretended to punch me in the face.
That's
So then I'm
hilarious.
like, "Okay, it's my turn." So I'm literally like, I got him in a headlock, pretending to like beat the fuck out of him. So it's like, but this is my
That's
doctor.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was like, but they're human too, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So it was like I said, it was such a beautiful trip.
Best sunsets there too, eh?
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
This isn't the greatest, but this is like the back of the house. Like that's how. Yeah.
Wow, that looks like a vibe.
Oh, dude, it's so the roofs are all live. So the roof is all like
They're like
moss and
garden,
and
like,
yeah, it's a
wow.
garden, like moss and flowers and
How doesn't that fuck up like the leak? How come it's
because they prepare the roof so
to
it's-
make it? do
yeah,
that?
so yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, the whole thing is live. So this is sorry guys. I know we can maybe put some,
yeah.
but like this is
Wow.
yeah. So it's
Just
all
vibes.
yeah. Like
But they have running water there.
they do,
Yeah.
but they have a well
And it draws from the well.
It draws from the well, and they have on-demand water heaters that are run off propane, so that you get like hot water.
Yeah.
So I'm telling him about I have a cabin up in Sudbury, and I'm like, yeah, we have hot water, and he's like, you do? I'm like, yeah, we boil it. That's how we get our hot water.
Right.
Yeah, they just turn on their tap. But this is all off-grid. Like they have, about I think 3 or 4 big, huge solar arrays, like up on this one big, huge rock that's up a little higher.
Yeah.
And so their whole house is all powered by solar, and yeah, like.
Who did your tattoo when you were there?
So her name's Kim.
Oh, that's the girl
That's
that did it.
yeah.
She ended up doing it?
Yeah, so she
That
did it on
night?
her. No, the next day she did it on her day off for me.
No way.
Yeah,
That's sick.
yeah. So she's a tattoo artist,
Wow.
and I wanted, and
great
like I
work.
said, like I don't know
really
if we
great
can, but it's a trillium. It's because she's from Ontario, but it's out of eyes.
Yeah.
And
Just
uh,
like the psychedelic.
yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
perfect. Like
That's so sick.
I wanted to get a tattoo when I was out there, and it just worked. So my buddy, his studio guy,
Yeah.
his girlfriend is a tattoo. So I was trying to hook something up with her.
Yeah, talk about that studio real quick. What was that like? What was the whole vibe of like? 'Cause Bruce was at this like. If you guys think Prime's sick, like
Oh, this
show Corey, like what the fuck? This
let me-
place was crazy. Like I mean, maybe I'll flash if I do edit this, I'll flash the video, but fucking don't.
But I'm just trying
Hold
to.
me on it, 'cause I might not actually fucking edit it because I normally don't edit these. I normally just
Oh,
fucking
so
put
what's-
the intro in and.
I'm just trying to see the name of the. Okay, hold on one second. I gotta do this. 'cause
No
I
problem,
don't have my
brother.
Glasses on. So we got to take the old picture screenshot
And fucking zoom in on
and
it.
zoom in
You're
on
fucking
it.
hilarious.
Oh, dude.
You
it's-
have glasses?
Yeah, I
I've
wear
never
glasses.
seen you wear glasses.
Well, I don't. They're cheaters, right? Like, well, no, I do have
Let me see it. Bruce.
a Dream House is the name of the
Studio?
studio. Shout out to Aaron. I'm not sure of his last name. He's got a couple of bands. One of them is like they don't practice. They're like they do blues, and they just get fucking high out of their tree and go to a bar and play.
Wow.
And I guess they're really good.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
said,
a
my buddy,
kind of thing. Blues is great for that.
he's more into like the thrash metal. When he was in Niagara, he played at the Warehouse.
Cool.
He had a band that he was playing here. But yeah, like it was. So he's my buddy.
So how'd you go there? Why'd you go there?
Well, because Jesse is involved with this. Like he records music there. Like he plays guitar. Jesse he writes songs but it's like all like kind of heavy thrash, and it's like he's got his like
Thrash.
like it's just screaming, and then he right,
Yeah.
So he does that kind of music, so Aaron is his producer, and so they work together all the time.
Sick.
Yeah, so he's
I know,
constantly-
Bruce. I'm just like, where the fuck is this guy? Like, because I don't think you told me you were in BC at the time. No, you didn't. You just sent me a video of you in this fucking.
I think I said this is where I'm at right now.
$1 million studio for sure, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay. It's like Bruce is working on a project. Sick.
Yeah, no,
Why
it was
not?
just went to see, but it was so it's they do shit in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
What a
but
fucking time.
I learned I didn't realize like some of this music, especially when I'm doing my ketamine like this really far out.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like instruments that they're manipulating, but it's actually he was showing me like they'll just take a sound, like they'll create the sound with the computer, and just like the song is just like little nibbits of a sound, and they create a song out of this, like different sounds, and they like what was the one that this is like really far out. I thought so, anyways. Nope, wrong one. Spotify.
Just don't. Maybe don't play it if it's copyrighted, because then I might not. Then I
No,
might
true.
be able
Yeah.
to,
I'll give it to you later.
Yeah. Send it
But
to me later.
well, can I say the name of the?
Oh yeah. It's just if you play it, then
Yes,
it'll
exactly.
remix it into shorts. Sometimes.
Yeah. So.
It happened with the other last interview because we were playing songs on the fucking thing.
Oh,
If
really?
they're like our songs, like
It's different.
It's different, but it's like a thing. YouTube's kind of fucking sketch about that, which makes sense.
Bruce's K-hole. That's what my playlist.
That's funny. Bruce's K-hole.
Yeah. So
Secret
what was
blessing.
Was it Seeing Things and Forest Creature? Seeing Things.
Crazy on.
Oh yeah, like it's just like it's
Yeah.
like it's psychedelic.
Yeah.
Like, it's something you want to be listening to if you're on
If you're
psychedelics.
tripping.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's weird. Yeah. So
What
I learned
time
how
do you
like I thought this was like they're taking like a synthesizer or something and then manipulating it. But no, like he's actually creating the sound with a computer, like a little tiny little piece, and then he's just and making, because this is what his buddy Aaron does too. Like he does this kind of music on the side too, and they were showing me. I was like, holy fuck! Like yeah, it was
Unbelievable.
Oh, it was a trip of a lifetime. It
A
was.
remarkable life, eh, Brucey? Fucking hell. You gotta please, brother. I urge you, please get the podcast going. The people
We're gonna call it
love
Uncle Bruce's, Uncle Brucey,
I think if you had your own podcast, I would call it the Uncle Bruce Show.
Uncle Bruce show.
For sure.
The Uncle Bruce. No, because should it be Bruce? No, but Uncle Bruce. The Uncle Bruce.
The Uncle Bruce Show.
Uncle
'Cause,
Bruce
like, that's
podcast.
what, that's like honestly what we call. I
Yeah.
actually like think of you like an uncle.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's sick. Like not even like a friend, but
No, I
like Uncle Bruce just has like a nice ring.
Oh,
to it,
exactly.
you know? But hey, we did it again. We're gonna do it again. And,
Oh yeah, like I said, you know what? Maybe if I do some co-hosting, it'll give me the
I absolutely want to keep my word for that, and I'm going to. We'll have you the first episode we'll do. I'll send you Judgment, some of their music. Listen to it, check it out, and then I'll have you on as a co-host for that. I think Frax will probably be here for that too. I don't know like how the fuck I'm gonna do. We're gonna have to move some shit. I'm gonna have to like.
Is this portable?
The podcast?
Yeah.
Yes, but for that episode, yeah, it's totally portable. But for that episode, we're gonna have to do it here because they're doing the show in St. Catharines.
I know, but if I can get a bigger
Or we do
spot
it
to-
in a different spot. I was thinking about even maybe doing it at Warehouse, but I don't think they want all those people in there and shit. They're kind of like, they're kind of like business about that. But,
Yeah.
Hey man, thanks for coming on again,
dude. Like it's always a pleasure.
It's
Like
always
I was
a
so
pleasure.
excited. Like even like when you text me the other, I was like, hey, I'm like,
yeah, you're like, we gotta catch up. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do
Better-
one
better,
day.
yeah.
Just come on the podcast when we record it.
yep.
Oh man, so thanks for coming on, and
Always a
make sure you
pleasure,
follow
brother.
Bruce on all platforms at the real
Nope.
Bruce.
At the Bruce Black.
At the Bruce Black.
Oh, one more. Can I? One more.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, yeah.
hilarious. So we go for FA NBC, right?
Okay.
So they have an issue with their machine,
Yeah.
and we go to pay, and they just so they're like, "Oh, our machine, we need cash." And he's like, "So my buddy's like, I'll be right back." So he had to go to a bank machine. So I'm like, "I'll stay there so they don't think that we're dining and dashing, right?" So the one guy that works there, he's asking all about, because I don't know if you've seen my last one, but I have a whole leg sleeve as well that matches the Japanese.
Yeah.
And this gentleman, he's a younger guy, asking me all about it. He's like, "Where'd you get that done? I really want something like that, but there's nobody around here that does that good of work," type of thing. And I'm like, "Hey, sorry, like I'm a magician. I could have been doing some stuff for you, but I didn't bring anything." And this girl's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, sorry." She's like, "We'll come back." I'm like, "I'm leaving. I live in Ontario."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "I'm going to Ontario next month."
What?
And I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where are you going?" She's like, "Does Niagara sound familiar?" I'm like, "That's where I live."
Oh
She's
my
like, "I got
God.
a wedding."
Everybody from fucking BC and Niagara, they just fucking frequent it.
Well, she's never been here. Like, she doesn't know. So I don't know if she was born there, but she's like, "I got a wedding." And I'm like, "Hey," like, she's probably in her 20s. I'm like, "Do you need a date?" And she goes, "I might." So she's like, "What's your?" I said, "Look me up." And she's already like messaged, like added me on. Like literally, I was gone for 10 minutes, and like she added me on Instagram.
No way.
So who knows? I might be. I said, if you need, like, if you are here for a bit and you want just like places to hang out, like bars and shit to go to or whatever, right?
Bruce,
But
you were right
but-
also.
oh, it was hilarious. Like, I was
love
like, yeah, but it was just like, "Oh, I'm going to. Have you ever heard of a place called Niagara?" Yeah.
I'm familiar.
All right.
Man. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Love you.
Drink water, find out. See you in the next one. Peace. Oh man, classic. Could do it all.
I've been getting money now, and these bitches acting sweet like some honey now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ain't it funny how honeybees get the buzzing when you get to pulling hundreds out unannounced?
They know I'm not bummy now. I got my own shit, and I don't live with mommy now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Got my